ship at some point.
Yeah. Which way was that again? Miss looks at Vathan as though Vathan might be able to help.
Last session, we realized how much this group depends on Laffy's pathfinding.
I mean...
You... Ren, you were like, I got this. And then you look down the street, and you look up the street, and you're like, fuck.
I don't
Where am I?
Miss is like, right?
Didn't Ren make a map, though, last session?
Ren made a map
the
from the
library.
Adventurers Guild to
Yeah.
the library
Oh.
and the House of the Broken Star.
Yeah, Miss...
Actor.
This is like, I have just a bunch of written down names of places we passed, but that might go in either direction. Looks at Vathan's like, do you know where we should be going, Vathan?
Vathan looks at you guys very judgmentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ren still doesn't know.
Yeah, Ren...
Used to it.
Ren's like picking something out between her teeth. Having recently discovered that she can indeed eat.
Hey.
Yeah.
Vathan flaps his wings and caws derisively at you guys before
Yeah,
lifting
this
off
is-
of your shoulder mist and flapping down the street, like expectantly, like, follow me, you idiots.
Yeah, Miss just follows. She's used to this. This is how she would get around before everybody else.
Yeah.
Just follow the bird.
So Mist, you go wandering off after the bird. I'm assuming the rest of you guys are like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Follow the bird.
Ren's starting to draw on her map again.
Okay. Having the map will give you advantage on survival checks. Or survival rolls for here. Because it's not a perfect map. It is...
It's
It's
went
an
this
attempt.
way,
Yeah.
and this way, and
Yeah,
this way.
exactly. It might help, but not 100%. Laffy's kind of your only hope.
Yeah.
So Vathan flies down what you suddenly remember is Tula Street, and you reach the intersection of Tula and Sothin, and you're like, oh, right, we went nothing to get up this way, so let's go down Sothin to get back to the docks. So you do that. You follow that, and Vathan continues to lead you just in case, because he doesn't trust you at this point.
He always needs to lead Mist. It's fine.
Yeah. So as you're walking, the buildings get shorter and shorter until you reach the docks, where there's those tall, skinny ships still in the port. You don't see anybody else other than a few people hauling in fish. But then there is the Sea Song's prow, looking very much out of place in the dark waters that is surrounded by these very nice lit boats. This one is just kind of, you know, it looks rough compared to everything else.
Yeah.
Rude, she's a lovely ship.
Uh-huh. And you see the crew milling about on board, looking like they're not really sure what to do with themselves.
Mist is just like, good job, Vathan, and she takes out Vathan's fork and gives it to Vathan to go beat up things with it
Yeah,
or whatever.
Vathan immediately flies over, takes the fork, and you guys all witness the crow just fly over to a nearby building and start slamming the fork up against the building.
Very character, you don't even know.
Yeah.
Mist is just thinks this is fine and goes up
Okay,
on the
then.
ship. Well, he's actually very aggressive. He doesn't like doors very much for some reason.
Why have we never noticed it before?
In the distance, you hear.
I guess you weren't paying very much attention.
When am I ever?
Yeah, Mist goes in and tries to find where Laffy is. Is she in the mansion?
Yeah, I
She
believe.
said that, okay.
Yeah, I believe she's in the mansion. You see Artok is just staring dreamily out at the city. And he looks at you guys and just, Nabrain's not letting any of us on shore. She doesn't trust the city.
Oh.
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
Really a strange place.
Giving me a weird vibe.
Yeah,
Apparently
but
no one dies here. Isn't that intriguing? But they're not undead either. At least I don't think so.
Well, okay. I guess we don't need to go anywhere. And he jabs his thumb over his shoulder, and you guys see that he's jabbing his thumb towards the shimmering kind of seam in the world where the mansion is.
Hey. Yep, Mist nods at Artok and goes over to the mansion, goes in it.
Ren waits awkwardly outside.
Oh my god.
Oh, you missed it, but last session Ren, like, got rid of her glamour, so she's, like, fully well, you know, she looks like she's mostly dead.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
She's not
With
pretty.
glowing eyes. Yeah, no.
Well, I mean, okay, it depends on what you're into, I guess.
Oh my god.
This is a sex-positive D&D game, y'all.
Jesus.
Don't bring your kinks into this, Max.
I'm just... Okay, you know what? Yeah. So, Mist, you go in the mansion. Laffy, what... Laffy, what are you doing?
Well,
No longer
Fluffy.
puking her guts out.
Fluffy is in the kitchen, nursing whatever the fuck the equivalent of a seltzer is.
It's seltzer.
Nursing a seltzer.
Yeah, she comes in. I'm guessing the kitchen's pretty easy to come across, and she's just like, "Oh, Luffy, you're up. Are you feeling better? I mean, you must be if you're here, but..."
Well, you know, I threw up a lot.
You did. I
think
saw.
I threw up an organ, but
Oh.
I probably didn't need it, so it's whatever.
What did it look like?
Like a lump?
I mean, we could probably do something about that if we have to.
It's fine. I feel great.
All right. Well, we did some exploring. The place out there's rather interesting. And Miss Siddle's a bit closer to Laffy and is like, Ren told us a bit about what happened. So she.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently.
You know, that's just her business. If she wants to tell me, she can tell me herself. I don't care.
You
You
do,
know, she
but
definitely doesn't
alright,
care.
you should probably ask.
Why do I have to ask? I don't need to know. So
Miss looks at Laffy and is like, I fucking know you. She gives her this look
It's
like,
fine.
come on.
It's fine.
She's still giving her that look.
It's fine. She stands up. Is there anything that I need to know about Cecility?
Well, for a while I was leading, so you know how that went. There's a library that was closed for an indeterminate amount of days, and I think it was 3, but they were days I'd never heard of. And there's also a temple, which has this symbol on it, and Mist holds up her book and points at the broken star. We learned a bit more about the Realm Mix. Ren seemed particularly interested in this one, wanted to break into the temple. We managed to convince her not to yet. and we went shopping and got a bunch of things.
Oh, nice.
You have some new clothes waiting for you.
Yes, and some armor. And there are some other things we got that we're going to divide up eventually, I'm guessing. But yeah, you can ask anything for more detail. I wrote it all down, but...
Well, what's the city like? You only mentioned the buildings.
Right, yeah, no, it's pretty incredible. It's mostly elves, but they're not like undone elves. They're actually polite, and they like half elves.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So they actually like you, which is awful to say, but gosh, was Undar bad. Anyway. So there's that. Oh right, the people here don't die because they have the blessing.
What? I'm sorry. Did you just casually mention that people don't die?
Yes, I did. Apparently, if you have the blessing of a realmic, then you just don't die.
Luffy stares off into the middle distance.
Like,
Congratulations.
All the people here are that. They actually know about them, so I got all of their names, aside from the outsider. And... yeah, I guess they just don't die, which makes sense when the book said, of the Undying. City of the Undying.
It's appropriate, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, let's fucking go then.
Mist gives Laffy another look, and she doesn't say it in words, but she uses telepathy to sort of convey the feeling of you should ask Ren about things I know you want to know.
Okay, Laffy is going to try telepathically. She covers her ears and she thinks, John Jacob Jingle.
Yeah, Mist just
louder
snored.
than this.
So Brad's just seeing her covering her ears and staring intently at me.
Bran gives them just both like a look like the fuck's going on, but at this point he knows better than to ask.
Yeah.
And Miss is like, oh, how's Polka Dot?
How is Polka Dot?
I don't know. How is Polka Dot?
Oh my god.
I don't know if Luffy's seen Polka Dot or not. I'm not in charge of NPCs.
I'm saying you
You're
can
the
roll.
DM.
Okay, I was giving you permission to wing it, but you've heard Polka Dot making some really weird noises that sound like a mix between like a yowling, a meowing, and goat noises.
A goat trying to meow.
Well,
Screaming.
Polka Dot does not understand that she is a goat now. So,
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
We might be able to do something about that. Anyway, alright, let's go. You need to see this place.
Yep, let's go. And Luffy goes, mansion.
You know how goats can like scream like people?
Yeah.
Yeah, Luffy, while you're trying to sleep, occasionally you heard, "Ah! Ah!"
God. You have truly created an unholy creature.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is why Bran doesn't talk about it. He just won't.
Bottle that shit right up.
Hell is empty and all the devils are in this party.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so you guys clamber out of the mansion, and when you step out, the shimmering seam seals itself up. And Laffy, before you is the blue and orange city. It's kind of blue-purple given the fact that it is nighttime. You can see the stars above you despite all of the lighting, and the light is this nice soft orange color. And you see the tall, skinny ships flanking the Seesong's prow, but they're unmanned. You guys are just pulled up against a dock. And you see that there are several streets that lead off of the docks off into the city, and you do see elves roaming around in these kind of opulent clothes. Not too opulent, but definitely nice. There's no, like, impoverished-looking individuals here. They're all of varying skin tones. There's really no uniformity amongst these elves. But the streets are paved. There are buildings flanking each street. And from here you can't really tell what the buildings are. But they're tall compared to what you've seen in the past. And you remember that... Well, Miss said that there are buildings, but you look past it, and you do see that there's like this step-like structure to the buildings, that as the street goes on, the buildings get taller and taller. And then you see Ren just standing around awkwardly. And Nenia, are you with Ren?
Kind of. I completely forgot like where she was. Okay, yeah, no, she's just kind of floating around.
I hope she just
Ren.
she's standing there, but she has her back to Ren and is trying not to look at her.
Yeah, maybe looking at like the mansion door seam, like a sad puppy that's been I just anxiously and not looking at Ren.
It's okay, Ren isn't looking at her either.
Oh.
Pointedly ignoring each other.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, when they come out, it's like, well, Luffy's better. It's good.
I threw up. Now I feel great.
Congratulations.
I'm sorry to hear that. Have you been drinking plenty of water, eating enough? Are you...
Yes, it's fine. I take care of myself.
She said she hacked up an organ.
Oh, it might not have been an organ. It could have just been a lump.
But that, Luffy, you know better than that. Miss
The
is
boxing is
looking
a
at Luffy.
mysterious thing.
You're not wrong. That's very true. Still don't know quite how all of it works, but
They're very lumpy.
yeah, it's weird.
Nania doesn't know if she's allowed to be concerned anymore. Given their general attitude, which is very like... She wants to be concerned, but she is in their nonchalant attitude.
Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah, Mist goes over to Ren and starts digging through the bag of holding.
Stop.
And she gets out the clothes they got for Laffy. It's like these
Luffy just
needles.
begins undressing.
Mist doesn't seem like this is weird at all.
In front of
Nania
God
turns
and
to me.
everyone.
You hear some of the sailors start cackling, and then you hear, like, you just hear these quiet, muffled oomphs and apologies, but not to Laffy, to someone.
Yeah.
Luffy puts on her clothes, and now she's dressed, and she probably looks remarkably less like a goblin. But we know that she's a goblin on the inside, and that's what counts.
Give it time,
Yep.
she'll look like a goblin on the outside again. Too.
Yeah.
By time, like, a day.
Probably.
She's
She
like,
stands perfectly straight for a moment, and then goes back to kind of slouching.
Mist is like, they look nice on you.
Thank you. Oh, we lost her. Oh, there she is.
Hey.
So
Oh,
it's my internet. But anyway.
oh.
Luffy's like, thank you. That's very. I'm happy that you got me clothes. My old ones were getting. Yeah. They were going to fall apart. So, and she points ahead and she's like, that's the city. Where are we going? What are we doing?
You know, that's a good question. I think... we don't know the names of the days here, but I think it was perhaps 2 more before the library would be open. You want to know where the Adventurers Guild is? It's closer to everything than, walking all the way from here.
Yeah, I guess.
Then I guess we could divide up our stuff and figure out what to do there. Maybe we'll run into something when we're going, who knows? Like, Mist is looking at everyone like, what, do you guys have any input on this at all? Like...
Ren is, like, leaning on the side of the ship, staring at the city, going, and then, like, shrugs.
Fluffy is petting Saint.
Saint's wagging his tail. And he's staring out of the city, like he is keenly interested.
Saint, you can come too, of course.
He turns to look at you, and you get the sense that you didn't have a choice in the matter.
Yeah. Mist just grins.
Fluffy looks at Saint and she goes, is there any direction in particular that you are wanting to go to?
He just wags his tail and just kind of bounds away, and he jumps off the side of the ship without taking the gangplank down. He stands in the street and just stares up at you guys.
Fluffy follows. She also doesn't take the gangplank down. YOLO.
Yeah.
Well, fuck, if Laffy's not taking the gangplank down, either
No
is Ren.
one's gotta.
Oh, has the challenge been issued?
Yeah.
Mist does this too, but she levitates down. She knows she's gonna fall in a heap.
Denver 1 is just gonna take the gangplank down.
Alright, so with you guys all in the street, Saint just turns to look at the city and just kind of starts walking.
As they're walking, Luffy falls in with Ren, and she doesn't look at Ren, and she says, Ren?
Ren doesn't look at Laffy, and she just keeps walking. She's like, Laffy?
You look exceptionally dead this morning.
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, and then Luffy walks ahead of her.
Ren, like, pinches the bridge of her nose and just keeps walking.
Mist sees this and she says telepathically to Ren, like, she's not gonna ask, but she wants to know.
You just hear, like, loud la 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 response.
Mist
Oh my
just
God.
cracks up. and then she says, you two are very similar.
So, DM interjection, I like the idea that none of you guys have learned how to talk back. You just know how to, like, make noises.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, you guys follow Saint, and he stops to sniff things. He's doing the dog thing. He's staring up at people, and some of them stop to look at him. No one really reaches down to pet him, and
Oh,
he
man.
just,
That's upsetting.
he's swagging his tail. He doesn't look too offended by it. And in the distance, you hear something chime 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that. As you're walking around, you pass some
Now
open.
5 bong.
Yeah, 5 bong.
Hog.
Yeah. You do see some people are beginning to close up their shops. Again, there's like food stalls, textile stores, nothing super fancy.
Ren buys some kind of, like, cart food on their way by.
Okay, for 1 gold, you buy like this weird donut thing.
Yeah.
Bran, like, sees it and watches her eat it, and then quickly runs back and gets one of his own.
Okay. So yeah, and you keep walking, and Saint eventually leads you to the big crossroads, where there are people milling about, about a dozen maybe, and there's a open tavern or two on two of the streets, and you hear the quiet sound of music wafting out of one, and the sound of rigorous debate of some sort coming out of another. And Laffy, you finally do notice that the city is on this kind of incline that heads down in the direction that you guys are walking. Yeah, and you see that you've been walking along what is aptly named Main Street.
Oh my god.
Laffy is walking, and as she's walking, she's like, imagine if we're following Saint and he just leads us to a dog park. How delightful would that be?
I didn't even know those existed. That would be
Yeah.
amazing.
It's an elven thing.
You would think well, maybe not.
Wow. He turns down Weston Street, which is to the left of where you guys are walking, and just kind of trots along. He's doing the doggy prance, a little bit high class looking as he goes along.
He's blending in.
Yeah, the streets are about like 4 or 5 people wide. Think of it kind of like a European city setup, like an old Italian city where the streets aren't super wide and there's a lot of buildings with balconies and people are hanging off the balconies talking, and you see people eating dinner with casual glances up, but these buildings are incredibly tall, so you can't see too high up. And yeah, you're just walking along, and as you're walking, there's a 6 bong. As Saint just continues to kind of meander around.
Do we see anything that we recognize, or that...
Not that you guys recognize, no.
So, what about anything interesting?
We'll make a perception check.
Alright, here we fucking go. Let's see. Perception... 14.
Okay. In the distance, you hear what sounds like someone begging. And it's coming off to your right, outside one of the buildings.
Was it like begging for money, or is it sort
Yeah,
of desperate? Like, oh
no,
my...
no, it's like begging for money.
Alright. I don't know. Mist sort of half glances over there. I mean, she doesn't really... She's not... Besides sigils, cities are kind of weird to her, so... She's looking over that way to see if she can see this person, but she's not, like, going off down the alleyway or something, so...
Looking for it, you can't really see it between the people that are milling around, and you're really not sure like how far down it was. You just heard it kind of come to you on the wind.
Yeah, Mist says it sounded like someone was begging over there.
What? What?
I think for money. That would be the first person I've seen who would be sort of down on their luck here.
Maybe, I mean, every city is going to have its downtrodden folk, no matter how pristine or beautiful it looks.
I mean, they never die. Why would they? Maybe there's a hidden underbelly. Let's go find it.
There's
Yeah,
always
let's
a
go
hidden
figure out what the poor
underbelly.
people are.
Even Sigil has a hidden underbelly.
I mean, it is a hidden underbelly.
So you guys head off.
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys
points out where she heard it.
Yeah, you head off in the direction Mist points. And eventually you're led to a side street. Called... Where is it? Ludum Street. And you do see this kind of raggedy-looking elf with gray hair, tattered clothes, and an emaciated look about him, sitting outside of a doorway with a little hat in his hand, just holding it out to people and shaking it as they walk past, and no one is looking at him.
That's weird.
Ren, like, she has an idea. You said he has gray hair, right?
Yeah.
Huh. She looks at the others and like she like tugs on her own hair to like be like, he's like gray hair.
Does he look old?
Yes.
Huh.
Ren goes over.
Yeah, Miss kind of does too. She's not. Ren's probably in front.
Ren doesn't quite stop in front of him. She sidles up and sits down beside him.
It takes him like a solid 20 seconds to notice you. And when he does, he looks at you with these kind of dull blue eyes and gold for the havens, ma'am.
Ren pulls out some gold, like say 10 pieces, and puts it in his hat.
He kind of chokes and he's like, "Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. We're new to the city. What's your story?
I come from Sunward.
What's that?
It's Sunward Rest, and what do you mean, what is it? It's where the havens live.
What's a haven?
The people like me.
Like you as in you age?
You see that he is becoming visibly uncomfortable and frightened as you ask him questions, and he's starting to sidle away from you, and yes. We age.
Why is that bad?
We've lost Realsh's blessing.
Ah. Seems sort of a petty thing, and Ren stands up and dusts her pants off.
Yeah, Mister's like, is there any way to get it back?
He just kind of starts sidling away from you guys more, looking more and more frightened and really uncomfortable with the situation. He says, I don't know. Why are you asking? Who are you?
We're not from the city or the continent. We came in by boat.
We don't mean to frighten you.
Pardon us our ignorance.
I've not spoken to any halves for some time.
Hey.
I don't think it was meant to be an insult.
Haves, haven'ts. Oh, I get it.
He just kind of looks and starts to stand up, and you see that he's definitely kind of bony, shaking a little bit, and he looks like he's about to bolt.
We'll leave you to your peddling. Again, pardon the questions.
He just
And he-
watches you
and he-
warily.
she holds up her hands in sort of a placating gesture and backs off down the way they came.
Laffy and Bren, you guys definitely noticed some people looking at the group strangely while Ren was speaking to the so-called Haven.
Luffy looks at them unblinkingly.
They immediately look away.
Anyone else suddenly feeling really uncomfortable?
No.
That's usually how I make other people feel. I never feel that myself.
You know, that's odd. Miss
Not
Miss
really.
just Oh no, I mean just she just kinda gestures.
So,
You
why is this saying that? Luffy's like walking away from the dude who's obviously uncomfortable. And she's like, why is the people not dying?
They have
they
the
have
blessing of Raelsh, who is
Yeah.
the Realmic that has the temple
look-
here.
We all have the blessing of our god.
My first question
Right.
is... So my question is,
Myself.
what do they actually do?
Well,
Because,
apparently
quite
it's-
honestly, I think the whole blessing thing is a load of shit.
I don't know, but in theory, since it stands for duality, maybe they did something to tilt the balance too far one way or the other.
Guys, I have a question before we continue on with this.
Mm-hmm.
Have we all come to terms with the fact that this isn't fatalistic bullshit, and we started out on this journey despite the Master of Planes telling us not to, and then we incidentally went in over our heads despite being specifically warned not to do anything?
Well,
He told us not to do something.
Here's the thing,
Okay,
right?
but we're aware that this has nothing to do with fate, and that we are the arbiters of what we are doing right now, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, because that line seemed blurry last time I saw you before I was all throwing up, and it hit me as I was throwing up.
No, I mean, well, Miss kind of gestures and points at her symbol and gestures more. I mean, I would be looking for answers regardless of what was, especially if someone was like, don't ask questions. Who the fuck do they think they are telling me that?
It's like the worst it's like the worst thing you could ever say to Miss.
Yeah. But either way, I don't know exactly what we're going to find, but I want to learn more about what these are for my own reasons, and also Nenia wanted to learn more about them too, and Ren, you seemed rather interested in that temple.
Yeah, because they told me I couldn't go in.
Oh my god, we're all assholes.
I thought we knew that already!
I mean, why do you think I'm here?
Oh my god. Luffy just buries her face in her hands.
Well, I mean...
Also, I should
what?
note that Luffy's face paint changed.
Oh.
She's got like an eye drawn on her forehead.
She's
Hey.
not wearing the skull mask anymore.
No, she left that at home.
For now.
Yeah. So again, people, they're no longer like looking at you now that you're just walking along. Saint is kind of leading you back towards a main street. His tail is lower than it was, but he's still wagging it. His nose is to the ground. He's snuffling around occasionally. And finally he turns and looks at you guys when you're back on Weston Street. He's just kind of like... He's just looking at you, wagging his tail.
Why don't we go
Miss-
find out if those priests are done deliberating?
I mean, we could.
What?
That's why we couldn't go
The
in
temple.
Oh.
They were... The clerics were supposedly, I don't know, doing something or other. Locked themselves in there, no one could go in. Miss looks around, like, first Mist goes over and pats Saint, and then looks around to see if Saint stopped for any reason. Like, is there anything interesting around here?
Make a perception check.
Hey, here we go again. Hey, 20.
You see a very nice tree.
Mist's like, Oh, that's a nice tree.
Saint looks happy that someone acknowledged it, and then he goes and defiles the tree.
Oh, Saint.
It's his tree now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After relieving himself, he pads back and looks a lot happier with everything.
His friend pats him on the head.
No, there's not much grass around, is there?
No.
Yeah.
So he was waiting specifically.
Yes.
What a courteous boy.
Yes.
Can't just pee on any corner.
Yeah, it's
course
gotta be the
not.
special one.
Gotta be perfect.
He looks at you guys kind of expectantly, like he's seeing if you're gonna choose a place to go, or if
Yeah,
he's just
Miss
gonna
looks at
keep
Ren.
going.
He's like, so you want to go back to the temple? You know where
Why
we
not?
are.
I mean, now I have my. And she looks at Laffy like.
Oh right,
uncertain.
it's at the slope. We just go that way. Miss actually remembers and sounds proud of herself.
Fluffy looks proud of Miss. She's like, nice. Nice.
Yeah, Laffy, as you guys have been walking, your internal map is just updating consistently, and the GPS is filling in real well.
My god.
Turn left. That.
Yeah, you know exactly where you are now, you just don't know where you're going yet.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I guess they're going down wherever the slope is.
Okay, yeah, you guys just walk off a little bit. You keep following the slope kind of at a slight angle until you find Nothin Street that is heading. It's just this big open street that heads straight down, and you guys follow it. And yeah, it takes about 20-30 minutes before you reach the lip of where the like city slope kind of ends, and some stairs begin that lead you down to the House of the Broken Star. And you see that the gates are still up. There are guards stationed at the one entrance that you've seen.
Hopefully they're different guards.
Wait,
Are they different guards?
They're the ones that you saw that changed out last night, Ren.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the symbol?
It is the Broken Star. It is in the pinned messages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
the
is
middle
the
one on the
yeah
top.
middle
Okay.
top.
Miss.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fluffy looks at the symbol and she's like, I don't get it. And then she
What?
looks a little closer and she's like, oh wait, I get it.
I showed you earlier, Luffy.
No, I didn't, never mind.
Well, at least they're different guards, so if we go up to them and are weird, they won't throw us out immediately.
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 So you guys take the stairs down, and you have to walk around a little bit to get to the side where the entrance is. And you see two tall, ruddier-skinned elves with their arms crossed. They're chatting with each other. They're wearing this enameled leather armor. And one of them catches you out of the corner of his eye and turns looking. Yes, what can we do for you?
Is the temple closed again today?
Aye, it's closed for the foreseeable future.
Oh, really?
That's the way it's been.
For
How long has it been?
Oh, 200 years or so. Maybe longer.
Really?
Ren just stands there like staring at that.
Yeah, Miss
Like,
kind of
blank
side
stare.
glances
He doesn't seem to catch the stare, and he keeps going with, I'm not much of a historian, so I can't really tell you when precisely. But he looks at his friend. Maybe 3, 4? It was around the time that war started.
What war?
Which war?
Oh, It was the one not near us. And his
Oh,
friend
God.
just shrugs.
I'm sorry, you're being really robot-y.
Oh. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you say?
He just looks at you guys and snaps his fingers a few times like he's trying to remember, and the one that was not around us. And he looks at the other guard, and the guard just shrugs. And we're just
Was it-
guards.
Not around here. You think it was an Undar?
Oh, yeah. I think that's where it was.
Huh.
You'll have to, I don't know, talk to a historian for more information.
Where would we find one?
Library.
You think they're open now? Miss can't help but grin.
They should
I don't
be.
know. It hasn't been 3 days. Unless it was hours.
Go ask anyway. I mean,
Alright, well.
what else are we doing?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
They just kind of shrug and, yeah. What?
Can you try moving the server? Because it seems like we're all getting
Yeah.
Sure.
weird.
Sure. Give me a second.
Didn't we move the server to something weird last time?
I think we did.
Just gonna poop out.
Yep.
Is it better now?
I think
Different? Better?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Maybe.
So.
Better
Yeah, it seems like it.
How's it for you, Shadow?
It's good.
Okay. Cool. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, they just kind of shrug and, well, you're not from around here, I can tell. He looks at you, Ren, and then he looks at all of you and he kind of points to the ears and... Would they-
Luffy frowns.
You're a bit tiny, no offense. What'd they say? When they said the library's closed.
Oh, they said it would be closed for like 3 days, I think. When was it? Mist flips through her book because she doesn't fucking know these days. Between Sooth Day and our day.
Our day is tomorrow.
Oh, excellent.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
He smiles at you, laughing, and gives you a thumbs up.
Luffy flashes a sick peace sign.
It's like, is there anything else you need?
I don't. Miss looks at Ren like.
Ren's still staring at these guards like she cannot believe someone has been fucking guarding this temple without going in for 200 years!
Luffy looks at the guards and she's like, is there anything worth seeing in the city?
Oh, there's the park. It's fantastic.
Monuments, places of importance.
There's quite a lot to see in the city. There's the Realmic pathway. There's the... Looks over at his other guard and... you know, it's hard to point out places to see when you've been living here for as long as we have. It's all kind of the same.
Understandable. Can you tell us where the Realmic pathway is?
Oh, hi. And he gives you some kind of vague directions. If you go down Sothen all the way, and then you turn down, Tuma Street, and follow that until you hit the corner, and then you head, nothing a bit, you'll find it.
Mist writes this down, and she dips her head and she's like, "Thank you very much."
By the way, Laffy, with your uncanny ability to figure out just geography and everything, you've gleaned that nothing is north, Sothen
Yeah.
is south, Weston is west, and Eston is east.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. Laffy doesn't share this information because she likes to feel important.
Okay.
She wants them to need her.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so, she looks at the others like, I guess this is somewhere to go, but yeah, Miss
seems like she's ready to move if everyone else is. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys all head up the stairs that you walk
Red
down.
keeps watching the guards as she's walking away.
They had gone back to conversing with one another, and then they catch your gaze and just kind of give you this weird, like, side look. It's like, what?
she's just like giving them this disbelieving stare
Laffy looks at Ren.
until she's out of sight.
Laffy looks at Ren and she's like, "They're totally going in there."
We're going in there.
Yeah.
Now I'm even more curious.
You're not. You're terrible at stealth.
I know I'm not going in, but I'm dreadfully curious. I might send Vathan with you.
Bad song. Well, okay, Vathan's kind of.
Vathan is great, okay?
Laffy looks around to see if she can see any birds in the city.
Yeah, you totally see birds.
Okay, what
just
kind
kinda-
of birds? Are there ravens?
Mostly pigeons, or the fantasy approximation of a pigeon.
Laffy points at a pigeon and she's like, "These are the only birds."
Well,
Magpies.
Vathan can change his form. Don't worry about it.
Vathan caws angrily at the implication that he'll change into a pigeon.
Miss looks at Vathan, and like, with her weird, I don't know, whatever telepathic Vathan connection, she says something like, "Look out for more interesting birds."
Vathan reaches down, because he's holding his fork between his little bird feet, and he leans down and slaps his beak against the fork.
Yeah, Miss just decides to take that as an okay, I'm gonna find a better bird than pigeons.
Okay. So you guys walk, and as you're walking, you hear a 7 and an 8 bong. And you see that.
Jesus.
Sorry, that. No, it's fine. It was great. Squeaky noises are my favorite.
I figured that was ether.
No,
No,
that's
either is
mine.
So. We are blessed to always have a squeaky toy dog somewhere. Anyway, yeah. You guys are walking for quite some time. And yeah, you see that people are starting to leave some of their buildings, and you see some individuals are kind of drunkenly stumbling around and fumbling for, well, not quite keys, but they're fumbling for something, and some of them just put their hands on walls and they turn into doors and they slip inside. And eventually you come to an area where there's more trees, and the buildings start to taper off, and before you see statues lining a path. You see 6 statues, in fact.
Buffy immediately looks for the eye.
Yeah, Miss gestures and is like, "Oh, this must be all of statues for them."
Yeah, you do see the eye on one of the chests, and it's a rather tall, broad woman. But you're not too close. You're not close enough to see any defining features or anything.
Luffy's gonna run up.
Okay. Laffy
Yeah,
sprints
Miss
ahead.
follows.
And you guys start heading down this path, and Laffy, you run past a woman with like furs across her shoulders and what look like leaves, and a robed figure, and a large, hairy-looking man with a hammer raised up above his head like he's about to strike an anvil. And eventually you come up to the woman with the eye on her chest, and she's holding a helmet under one arm, and a sword in the other that's planted in the ground, and she's wearing this nice marble chiseled armor. And the details on these statues are very nice. And she's just kind of staring out, and at the bottom is scribed the name Kass, Kass.
Hey. Yeah? Mist is looking at all of them and writing down all of their features and the symbols and everything.
Okay.
Fluffy looks at Mist, and she says, "Hey, wanna see something sacrilegious?"
Oh, what are you going to do?
Fluffy puts her hand over the K in front of Kass.
Oh my god.
Well, there. A mist cracks up. I mean, if anyone could do this, I imagine it's that you could.
Fluffy immediately removes her hand.
I'd actually been spelling it wrong this whole time. Now I know.
It's like ass with a K. Cass.
Yeah.
So
Fluffy,
oh, go ahead.
Fluffy's gonna walk up to the robed one and see if she can. Is Mist symbol-like thing there?
Nope. In fact, it's the broken star, and it is Realsh. But it is like a figure completely in shadow. Like, there's no facial features carved in. It's basically just a giant robe. But you do look over and you see an individual holding an orb in one hand and a book in the other, and you see Mist's symbol carved into that.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Mist goes over to that one.
And you see it is labeled Leander.
Mist tilts her head. Like, is it actually her symbol? Like,
Yeah.
or is it slightly different?
It's slightly different. You know the one on the bottom middle that you drew?
Yeah,
It's that one.
but that's Mist's symbol.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Mist tilts her head and she looks up and she's like, "Oh, that's very weird."
Wait, what? I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
Miss symbol is scribed into the bottom of a statue of a man named Leander, who is holding an orb in one hand and a book in the other.
Is he handsome?
He's alright.
Buffy's like, I mean, he could be more of a looker. But I always thought that whoever was attached to your symbol would look more like him. And she points to, what's his name?
Realsh.
Realsh.
Yeah, so would I. You know what's weird though? I don't stand for knowledge.
Mist, you feel no connection to this symbol, by the way.
Yeah, she looks. She's like, this is really weird. It's scribed right, but I don't really feel any connection to it.
It's like the double symbol, right?
Yeah.
Well, Waffy puts her hand over one and she's like, yeah, because it's not this.
Well, no, see, here's the thing, right? Okay, so the symbol itself gets more complex and intricate the closer you get to what it is that I'm connected to, right? So this would technically be closer than, you know, the one with just one. So that's why it's very odd.
Maybe you don't feel a connection to it because you don't have it. Maybe, I don't know, something ascension.
Yeah, Miss looks at laughing and is like, you know that thing that I told you before about, you know, what I'm protecting?
Yeah.
Miss sort of gestures to herself and then gestures as though to what she was said. It's like, that's kind of part of it. I think in some ways I'm it's weird. Though I did have a suspicion that maybe not Leander, maybe not any of the Realmics are what I am tied to.
Ren, Bran, and Nenia, what are you guys doing while they're doing this?
Ren's got her hands on her hips and she's staring down the statue of Railsh.
Okay.
Yeah, Brand's kind of like looking at all the statues, kind of going over them. Not really
She's
saying much.
listening to what like Mist and Laffy are saying, but mostly she's just staring at it.
Brand was listening to Mist and Laffy, but then he got bored, so he just started.
Nania's trying to listen, but she can't follow. But she stopped before the statue with the fur and the leaves, and just checking it out.
Yeah, it's got the tree-like symbol carved in, and it has the name Gyanthur. Geand apostrophe Thur. And yeah, it's a woman that looks kind of like a druid almost, but she's wearing more like clerical sort of robes. She's got like a druid's mantle or a stole on, while looking like a cleric at the same time.
Alright.
Bran, you go and look at the statue of the man with the giant hammer, and you see that is Crove. And yeah, he has that hammer-like symbol scried carved into his statue.
Mist eventually gestures Bran over. He's like, Bran, come here for a moment.
Brand walks over.
Yeah, Mist is like, do you feel anything, or is your gem doing anything in relation to this?
Brand looks at the statue, and does he feel anything?
Slight disdain.
Yeah, I mean, that's towards all of them, so...
Yeah.
He kind of puts his hand in his pocket, though, to, like, feel the gem is, like, doing anything.
Not really. And I mean, it's important to note none of you are really feeling anything outside of your own kind of somewhat religious or angry experiences.
So what you're getting from this is that they're just statues.
Yeah, more or less.
There's nothing... We're not gonna find some, like, divine answer in a chunk of marble.
Buffy looks at Bran,
Come on.
and she looks at Mist, and she looks at Bran, and she looks at Mist, and she's like, it's the statues.
Yeah, they are.
What gave that away?
Well, what I mean to say is that they're just statues.
No, I know.
Sometimes a
I
statue is just a statue.
I never thought they'd be anything else.
Ren flips hers off and walks over to the group.
Yeah. Mist,
Buffy looks at Ren, and then she looks at Mist, and she's like, is she...
what?
You know, and she wiggles her fingers.
I mean, we don't know. She just doesn't. She really doesn't like that one for some reason.
Yeah, she probably is.
Yeah, Mist sort of grins and shrugs, doesn't actually say anything, but Laffy probably knows what that means.
I don't know what that means.
It means, yeah, probably.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I don't know what that whole exchange means. Good job, guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
They get it. That's what matters.
Now that I think about
Buffy
it, I
and
don't
Mist
really...
understand.
They really do.
Yeah. Okay, yes, you guys are all standing there, and Saint is there with you, just kind of looking at statues, wagging his tail.
Mist actually kind of looks around for any indication of something else, like a seventh thing.
Nope.
Okay.
Roll perception.
Ren looks down
Alright.
at Saint and is like,
Oh, oops! I don't have to do this.
are these any of your buddies?
He just kind of looks at you quizzically.
Damn, natural 20 perception.
Okay.
Wow.
Mist, while Ren is talking to Saint, you squint and look up at Leander, and you see a little something coming out of the orb that he's holding. and you can't quite tell what it is, but it's like kind of this curled, like looking. It's kind of like it looks like the tip of an appendage, kind of sticking out of
Yeah.
it.
Mist immediately goes over there and floats up to see if she could see anything more detailed.
Okay. Well, first, Saint just kind of looks at you, Ren, and then he looks up at the statue of Koss, actually, and then looks at you and looks at Laffy. And he wags his tail and looks at the statue of Koss again.
Laffy is like, oh, friend. That's who you were traveling with before.
He barks for once.
Goes up, ruffles his ears.
No.
Mist, when you float up, you see it's the tip of a tentacle kind of poking out of the orb.
Yeah. Mist kind of grins. Was there anything else to the orb itself, or was
No,
that the only...
it's perfectly smooth except for this little piece of something poking out of it.
Okay. Mist looks at her tentacle arm, actually, and she's like, "But you stuck in an orb forever."
It isn't. The tentacles just kind of wiggle at you as they do.
Yeah. she floats back down, but she seems more pleased.
10 bongs happen
Yeah.
while you guys are here.
Mist kind of... She doesn't actually point anything out unless someone's, like, looking at her and wondering why she looks more pleased than she was a minute before.
Laffy is looking at her because she's like, why the fuck did you just float?
This seems to be something coming out of that orb, which, and she just holds up her tentacle arm.
And the tentacles wave languidly.
See, I told you there was something there. I know things.
Miss just giggles.
Saint gives a big doggy yawn.
It's getting late, I think.
Yeah, it is. Mist kind of gestures and then looks at Ren, but then blinks like she realized something, and she's like, "You know, you think it would be okay if we just put the mansion whatever in here?"
Yeah, probably.
Ren
Alright.
shrugs.
What? You wanted to go break into that place now?
No.
He'll give it a few hours, and Laffy goes to find a place to open up the mansion.
Well,
Okay.
if you do, I want to send Vathan with you.
Laffy, you find a nice patch of grass kind of off to the side, and you pull out your diamond and tear open the fabric of reality itself and clamber into your own pocket dimension.
Wait until you see Polka Dot, she says as she walks in.
Bran grimaces.
Oh my god. Yeah.
You guys all pile in, and once you're all in, you hear.
What is that?
Miss covers her mouth and tries not to, like, crack up really
Bran,
Sim,
does that Bran like walks in the door and then immediately, without missing a beat, just completely turns around and walks back out.
it's the music of the night.
Maybe we should inflict polka dot on the city. What would happen?
I mean,
I don't want to be punished for my crimes.
we
Yeah,
need
we're
to find her a better body. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bag of tricks has recharged.
Alright.
Are we gonna try this again?
Who has the bag of tricks?
Laffy has the bag of tricks.
Ren looks pointedly at Laffy.
Laffy sighs. She sighs, and she's like, We've already been at this rodeo.
Yep.
Do we even know
We're
if
not
cats
stopping.
come out of there?
We won't stop until one does.
Oh, well, fair.
First, we have to find polka dot.
What do you mean you find? I mean, it's not like this is that big, right?
We don't know.
Fluffy stays poignant.
Did you create a maze in the mansion while we weren't looking?
It's
That
a
would be
mansion! You said
I
it's
would-
gonna have like 4 dinky rooms?
Oh my god. Let's
If I had a
follow the sound
mansion,
of
it would be
screaming.
completely a maze.
Good thing it's not yours.
Yeah, probably.
Fluffy goes to walk in the direction of Polka Dot screaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Red.
Is Bran
It's
just standing
pause.
outside?
Yeah, no, Brent's not having any part in this. He's just.
I
he's
feel like
left.
smoking a metaphorical cigarette, like, this is what I deal
He's
with.
probably smoking his pipe.
He's doing that Ben Affleck picture.
Oh, yeah.
Just standing outside looking really miserable with a pipe. Just,
Oh.
Is
Uh,
Lydia gonna follow us for this adventure?
I don't know. Nobody answer her, and they're just going
Wait,
towards
what
the
is-
What
screaming
did she
sound.
say?
I didn't hear her say anything, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I noticed that I'm actually, like, not... Whatever. She asked what that screaming was.
Oh.
Fluffy's
They're
like, it's
just going
Polka Dot.
towards...
Yeah, we had a cat a while back,
Yeah.
but, it kind of...
Yeah, no, you didn't.
Brad, you're not here! We had
I
a
said
cat.
that out of character.
It was sort of a taxidermy cat. It got life back, but it was stuck. So we wanted to get it a body where it could move. We only found a goat, and
Why would you do that to a goat?
it wasn't a
What about
real.
this one?
It wasn't a real goat. All right. We have this thing. Miss is explaining while they're walking.
Oh, God.
Nenia does have a point, though.
Yeah.
It had its own consciousness that you just replaced.
It's fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
nobody knows.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so these things are all like puffballs, right? And if you toss them out, they become creatures. And we didn't want to, like, destroy the soul of an actual creature. So we're trying to get it a better body, and we don't know what to do.
How many times can I use this thing again?
3 per day.
Alright.
Eventually you do find polka dots and you guys corner her. She is a very angry, very big black goat.
Oh.
Fluffy just dumps out the bag of tricks again.
Alright, roll a d8. Or, yeah, roll 3 d8, but roll them separately.
Oh, okay.
Alright? Alright?
Oh my god.
Right.
Alright,
the
so,
Where's the goat?
yeah,
Oh my god.
2 goats pop into existence, and then a bear.
Oh my
jeez.
A brown bear puffs out, and just...
Fluffy leaves.
Miss looks at Ren.
You see the bear start to advance on some of the goats.
Oh my god.
But not Polka Dot. Polka Dot's a big goat.
Ren just looks at this and she's like, it'll be fine.
It's not going to be fine, Ren. What are we even going to do about this?
Can you turn them back into puffballs?
He smacks one of the goats upside the head, and it falls over.
Oh no. Can they turn them back into puffballs?
No.
I don't even Luffy has it and she's gone.
Ah!
Oh my
Ah!
I can't believe this.
Yeah, Ren is like sitting there like
Yeah.
just like silence. Absolute silence. She just
In front of
We
you,
need to
you
find-
guys see a bear disembowel a goat.
Oh my god.
As the goat falls over and dies, it turns back into a puffball.
Well, that's a way to do it.
The bear
Miss-
turns to look at you guys.
It's friendly towards my companions.
Yeah, no, it's friendly towards you.
No, it says you. No, it says you and your companion.
Oh, yeah, it's still looking at you guys.
Ren's looking at it, looking at them.
Yeah.
It turns and starts chasing another goat, and you see a bear lumbering after a goat.
We should not do this again.
Eventually, those puffballs are gonna be really cursed. And Ren turns around and walks out.
Yeah, Miss doesn't really know what to do about this. Like, what she does is she tries to distract the bear and does, like, create food and water.
Okay, the bear is super distracted by that.
Yeah,
Ren
it's like,
peeks her
here
head
you
back in.
go, don't eat the other one, please.
Ren peeks her head back in and is like, try to spell magic.
Oh, I could do that too. Yeah.
Alright, you cast Dispel Magic, and the bear and the other goat poof ball up, and that's it. Polka Dot, though, has left. You don't know her.
Yeah.
Amongst the confusion, Polka Dot disappeared.
That's fine. Polka Dot doesn't need to be here for that.
Everything's fine.
Alright.
This is a problem. This is a problem.
It is.
Yeah.
Was there another goat?
No, that missed
No,
points.
the big one.
Oh, that was Polka Dot. Yeah.
Ren goes to her room and closes the door.
Yeah, eventually Mist goes back. She's like, well, alright. An attempt was made. We don't know what to do about this. So.
There is one puffball that's a cat of any sort.
I know.
And is just like standing outside of wherever they were doing this, and is just like, he just gives them all a disapproving look as they pass. He's just like, of course you're disappointed and continuing to fuck up. This is your fault, or you're in this like situation in the first place.
Mist does not even acknowledge Brand's disappointing glance.
Alright.
Yeah, she's going to her room, I guess.
Alright, so you guys all go to your rooms. Is anyone gonna do anything?
Luffy's gonna find Ren.
Okay, you find Ren's room.
What time is it?
It's probably around midnight at this point.
Luffy
And
knocks
just,
on
like-
Ren's door.
Luffy can just slither into bed with her.
Oh my god.
I
She's
mean,
like, hey, what's up?
No, she.
she's just standing outside the door there.
I said she. I'm sorry.
Ren opens the door. Is
It's time.
hell yeah, it is. And Ren opens the door and starts walking.
Luffy
And then she-
follow.
And then she realizes that Luffy needs to lead the way and lets Luffy lead.
Luffy's
Okay.
like,
Are they at
So,
all noisy?
It's Ren and Luffy.
Yeah, between the two of them, no. They don't make much noise.
Mist is gonna be so disappointed you wouldn't let Vathan go.
Fluffy looks at Ren and she's like, you do realize, we are probably going to cause a lot of trouble if we get caught.
You're right. Ren stops at she stops and knocks at Mist and Brand's door.
Yeah, Mist gets up. She's
I meant by the authorities, you dingus!
And pokes his head up.
I know!
Mist opens the door.
So me and Laffy are gonna go infiltrate that Forbidden Tower, and we figured that you guys should probably warn the ship about it, cause we might cause some trouble, and might need to leave.
You're assuming we can leave.
Yes. In the event that we can leave, we should.
Well, here's the thing, right? Okay, I got this stone that can bring us the sigil if we really need
Do you really
it.
think Rin's crew is going to want to abandon the ship?
No.
Again.
Well, no, we can't fit the ship through there, can we?
Like, I know
We
we're
need a
not.
big enough portal.
I know we're well off and everything, but we can't afford another ship.
Well, if you do it, I want Vathan to go with you.
Vathan has to be a different bird.
Miss looks at Vathan. It's like, did you see any other birds that were better?
No.
Miss is like,
Pigeon
"Shit."
it is.
Well,
You feel Vathan kind of give himself over to the inevitable.
Aw.
Miss is just like, I'm sorry, I'll get you a bunch of neat things afterwards. She pats him, but she's like, I'm going to change this form. So she's like, all right, we need an escape plan, sort of. Like, Ren, do you know if your crew could do anything about the potential to need to leave quickly?
It's a ship.
Yeah, I
No.
know.
No. Let's say it, no. None of them are mages.
Mist considers a moment. It's like, you think they could, just be like, yeah, we don't know, then we would just, bring them over because they paid us.
Yeah.
That is definitely what Nabrin would say.
Okay, that should probably be good.
Just warn them ahead of time and tell them to go ahead and leave.
Well, they came here for their own reasons too, I imagine, right?
Yeah. Alright, let's go to the library first. Find out what we can about whatever we're going to be walking into in that tower then, the reason it closed. And
Good
then sneak
idea.
into it.
Yeah. Knowing more is better. Usually.
Sometimes. Miss, I like the unknown, but I need to know everything at first.
Okay, you don't understand though. Asking questions acknowledges the unknown. And then you have more questions, it doesn't end.
Ren just stares at her with that narrow-eyed, half-open mouth, like, ugh.
Miss just giggles. Anyway, yeah. Tomorrow, I guess, is when the library should be open, right? So
Right.
we don't have to wait that long.
Right. Alright, so tomorrow night, we infiltrate.
Yeah.
Night, we sleep. And Ren goes back to her room. To not sleep.
Just existentially exist.
Yeah.
In fact, once everyone else is asleep, she leaves.
Oh my god.
Okay. You just going wandering again?
Yeah.
Okay. You spend the next few hours wandering because there's really nothing else for you to do. You don't find anything of note. About 8 hours later, you wander back in and everyone else is waking up. Mist, you've been awake for a few hours already.
Ren gets coffee.
Bran eventually comes clambering down looking for coffee.
Okay.
Ren hands him coffee.
Bran takes the coffee.
So you all have breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't know where that was from.
Yeah, you all have breakfast. Saint eats his morning doggy food. And you guys all head out. You're standing outside. It is still nighttime out, but you are well rested. And what are you doing?
Going to the
Going to
library.
the
Yeah,
library.
just is like, do you know how we can get to the library from here, Ren? You've got that map. Granted, it's from somewhere else.
Ren hands the map over to Laffy to make sense of it.
Laffy
Laffy-
looks at the map. What's it look like?
It looks like there's road names, but there's not really distance. There's like approximate distance. There's approximate distance traveled, but like that's about it. And lines indicating streets. That's
How straight are the lines?
pretty straight. I mean, Ren's okay. Hang on. Let me make an art check.
Art
Oh my
check.
God.
Jesus.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's fucking.
Don't you worry about this old art check.
What the fuck would be an art check?
God, if I know.
Performance?
Yeah, let's call it
Yeah.
performance or sleight of hand.
Oh, let it be sleight of hand.
Okay,
please.
okay.
Okay, but she's trained, so that's
Yeah.
actually a 24.
Okay. Yeah,
my
Laffy
it's
looks at the map and she's like, I'm impressed.
and,
It did good.
and you immediately gain understanding of this part of the city's layout.
Laffy's
GPS.
eyes unfocused for a moment.
Yeah. It's fucking incredible.
Laffy's like, yeah, alright. It's that way. Let's go.
Laffy, you're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Alright, it takes you the better part of like 3 hours. You, stop by the tailor on the way there, to pick up the robes for Nenia.
Hey.
And the woman there has them laid out. I'm going to add them to your journal then. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there they are.
Hey.
Just to read it aloud for read aloud for everybody. Nenia received the twice blessed tunic. The soft robes are adorned with small vine-like gold leaf etchings around the trim, but are otherwise somewhat plain. The robes are incredibly light and feel like they are made of silk. They never seem to get dirty and will keep the wearer comfortable in all climes. While wearing them, you have a +1 to AC and a +1 to your charisma score. You may also cast the bless spell without consuming a spell slot.
Hey.
Oh my. Sweet. Thank you.
And the woman sends you on your way. And then you are in front of the library. It is, again, not like impressively large. It's a bit bigger than like a public library, but smaller than like a grand library. And the doors are open.
Hey.
Hey.
This is like, oh, finally.
Hopefully, the library keeper, the librarian, is more amiable than the one in Sigil.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully the floors aren't so slick either.
I haven't got a ghost sister's speed by on this time. Very unfortunate.
Nenia has learned not to ask as it goes.
Then
Okay.
I just helplessly like, what is going on?
you head up on into the library, and as you pass it in through the doors, the temperature drops a little bit until it's a little lower than comfortable, but not enough to be like noticeably cold. And you walk in, and there are rows of books ahead of you, like aisles, and you see a few push carts, and you see an older gentleman, kind of small, probably a little chubby, sitting at the desk.
Oh, a chubby elf.
He's got glasses on, and he looks up at you and, oh, hello.
Greetings. Mist immediately looks starry-eyed at all the books, but she manages to compose herself.
I don't often get visitors.
Really?
Oh, yes, most people here aren't terribly interested in, well, books. They say they've lived and seen it all. Hello, my name is Aris.
Nice to meet you.
He waddles out from behind the desk, and you see that he is indeed kind of rotund. And he's fairly old looking, and he looks at you guys, and Laffy, he's about your height, actually.
Oh, man.
He's just
Holy
like,
shit, someone she can look in the eye.
yeah, he's just like, hello, welcome,
Hello.
welcome to the library. Oh, and you can see that he's visibly excited. And what are you looking for?
So many things.
Oh,
Yes.
Basically everything. We're not from this country.
oh, of course not. Of course not. Where are you from?
Honda.
Oh, I'm surprised you can. I mean, welcome.
Hey.
It's not that backwater. It's backwater. Don't get me wrong. But it's not that backwater.
Why, the last time I was a young boy, the last time I met somebody from Honda. Well
How long
then,
ago was that?
oh, several thousand years.
Was it before or after the war? We heard a war mentioned, but we never
No, it
heard
was-
of it.
The Separation War? Oh, it was before.
Huh.
Wait, there's a
Are
separation.
there books on that?
Oh, yes. I suppose I'll take you to history then, if that's what you're interested in.
Yes,
Love you,
that
optimist.
and all the realmics, too.
Oh, we've got a divine section as well.
Excellent.
And you know, there's a funny issue here, actually. And he's walking and expecting you guys to follow, and have you ever tried to organize a library? I mean, really?
Yes.
What happens when you've got a book about the history of a Realmix champion? Where does it go? History or under divine?
Do you put the shelves close together then, and then you put the books that are more like history and divine closer to
Oh.
the
Make a
shelves?
third category
Oh,
called
oh.
divine history.
Oh, we've tried the half-aisle system. There are arguments. Someone died.
Oh.
Whoa.
Sometimes you've got to read the book and decide yourself where's a better place to put it.
Bookkeeping is a serious business.
Yes, it is, young woman.
I like to think that both Mist and this guy just look at Ren like, how dare you?
Ren very carefully, said it not sarcastically, even though she meant it sarcastically, so that it could be overlooked that she was meaning it sarcastically.
The layers.
Yeah.
He's muttering under his breath now, just group it by name, subject. We decided to group it by subject in honor of our fallen brethren. It doesn't help much. We're still trying to figure it out. Some say that there's no such thing as the perfect organizational system, but let me tell you, I don't subscribe to that notion.
I mean, I suppose it depends on who's making it, honestly.
Oh, yes. Regardless, we had to shelve the notion for a little while.
Miss Snickers.
Oh my god.
Ren grins.
As he's leading you guys along, suddenly he stops before an aisle, and he turns and looks down it. Ah, there he is.
Oh. Mist peers down the aisle.
You see a tall, slender, older-looking gentleman pulling a few books off the shelves. He's got like a long, hooked nose, and he looks rather haughty. And you hear Aris go, "Ah, Soothie, Soothie, you old fool! What are you doing? What foul magics are you working upon the books?" And he starts waddling in, and the other librarian known as Soothie just goes, oh no.
You wouldn't happen to be reorganizing, would you?
I thought this young fool was away for a little while. And Aris, I'm not young, I'm older than you. Just because you are in Sunward longer than me doesn't make you better. And, oh, what are you doing? I'm organizing it by name within the subject. That's not our agreed upon! He throws his hands up over his head and looks at you guys and come! I'll fight this battle after I've taken you to your section.
Hopefully no one dies in this one.
Yeah. Mr. Palos.
I miss that old fool. He just disappeared one day.
Who did?
The other librarian, there were once 3 of us.
What was his name?
I don't remember, it's been so long.
Oh,
Wow.
that's too bad.
Conveniently unfortunate.
He perished underneath, well, we don't know. It was in his memory that we organized the books how we have, but we're still organizing within the organization. Anyway, here's history.
Buffy pats his shoulder.
Yeah.
Ren pats his other shoulder, but awkwardly.
Alright, make a perception check.
All of us?
Who wants to look for books?
Yep.
I'm looking for books.
Yep.
Okay.
Same.
Ren's gonna take her time and gaze
Okay, Laffy.
investigatively at the book.
Okay,
Yeah.
Laffy, what sort of book are you looking for?
Laffy is looking for a book on the War of Separation.
Okay. You...
They're in the history section.
Yes. You do find one. And you pull it down and you start leafing through it. And you see it is written by someone named Suriel. And it's titled The Separation War. And what it says, and I'm gonna copy and paste this all in later, so Dos, don't worry about writing it down.
Hey.
You read it, and it says, across the sea and in Anda there are dark tidings of war. Years ago, a portal tore the sky asunder, and the screams of travelers filled the air. These travelers were known as the Hua, and without explanation they settled over the foundation of the world. Seeing this as a slight, Altor began a battle that would lead to a war. The conclusion of this war has remained shrouded in shadows, as contact with the continent ceased shortly after.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to paste this into Discord right now.
Hey.
There you go.
Sick. Thanks.
That's just so, like, you guys can all read it, and, yeah, you don't need to go completely off of my spoken word. That's the book that you find, Laffy. Ren, what sort of book are you looking for?
Okay, Laffy was found one of the Separation War. Ren's gonna look for something, on the history of, this place.
Okay. Investigation, since you are investigating.
Yay.
Okay. As you're looking around, you're looking and you actually see, 2 books. And they are called Trading Routes between Rastin, Tumesh, Ardam, and Amiel. And another one is Imports and Exports from the Great City of Rastin. And you pick them up and you look through them and they're exactly what they say. And you're just like, motherfucker.
Ren is like, at first she's like, well, this is useless. And then she's like, wait.
Mm-hmm.
And are there like maps?
Yes, on the trade routes.
Ren opens it to the map page.
Laffy's gonna take a look at what Ren is looking at.
Mist
I
is
like-
looking at what everyone's looking at.
And like leans it down for Laffy to look at.
Luffy takes a good hard look. Because she feels like they're gonna need it later.
Okay. Yeah, you've got it. I'll show you the map later.
Okay.
It's basically going to be an overlay of the map you already have or the map you already have. It's just going to have some stuff added to it.
Sick.
You do find a book that is rather dense, also, and it says it is the history of Ashta.
Well, Ren pulls that one down.
Okay, yeah, you start leafing through it, and you are unable to really glean anything of import immediately, but you do see that it is about, like, the rise and fall of fiefdoms. You actually see the word fiefdom a few times. It is about the history of the founding of cities, battles, and wars. For all intents and purposes, it's a history textbook.
Mist sees this and is like, I'd like to look at that later.
Ren keeps leafing through it, like she's looking for mention of like maybe this would overlap, but she's looking for mention of when like this city became quote unquote blessed by Raelsh.
While leafing through it, you're unable to find it. There is a section on Rastin, but it is relatively small.
Yeah. Ren closes it and hands it over to Mist.
Yeah, Mist is gonna look through this later.
Okay. Anyone else looking for books here?
Well, Mist is actually gonna see if, like, history overlaps at all with... Because they even mentioned history of a Realmic deity champion, so she's seeing if that kind of stuff is here, or if it might be in the divine section.
Okay. Perception.
Oh boy. 25.
While you're looking, you hear, Aris just kind of cursing under his breath, and, if you're looking for that history of the champions, it isn't divine. We've decided to put anything involving the Realmics over there.
Alright, thank you. Where is the divine section, by the way?
I can take you.
Excellent.
By the way, since you're outsiders, do you know the calendar? I've heard individuals from Anda aren't exactly well versed in, well, excuse me for saying, the civilized world.
Time is meaningless.
Oh, no, we have 6 cycles of 60 days.
I would like to see this in detail, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, he goes and pulls out, like, a small book, and it's very clearly, like, for children. But
this doesn't give a shit.
You see there is Ayud, Lam, Bena, and Trost, and says these 4 are named after the 4 scholars that studied the Realmics and gave us knowledge of the ticking of time. You see one called San. It is a cycle of forgiveness, giving, and protection. A spirit named Snoo Ter circles the world during this time and gives gifts and goodwill. And then there's Nap. It's for quiet and rest.
There's a time of year called Nap.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's Ren's
Luffy-
favorite season.
Luffy points at that and she's like, so is this a whole cycle, Nap?
Oh yes, it's 60 days.
Nice.
Mist writes all of this down.
Alright, there you go.
Hey. Thanks.
Yep.
She's like, thank you very much.
Yes, well, we're actually about to head into Nap.
Oh. Well.
I have a feeling that we'll be too busy to properly,
Blasphemy!
appreciate.
60 days of rest. Delicious. Anyway, off to the divine. He starts shuffling, and he moves at like a quarter of the speed that you guys do, so you're all just kind of... You know that, like, slow MMO walk where, like, you're trying not to walk faster than the NPC? So sometimes you have to, like, double back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have to do that on occasion. You're just like, he doesn't seem to notice.
Shit.
If I see that Suthi again, I'm going to kill him. Well, not really, because I can't, but I'm going to... Anyway, here's the divine! And he leads you to a stack of books that's, larger than the rest.
Alright.
So, are there any books here on the Haven?
Oh, we don't talk about the Haven.
But aren't we... Never mind.
Is there a reason you don't talk about them?
What do you have to do to fall out of favor so much?
It's not for me to say. It's for the priests to say. It is. You'll have to excuse me. It is a cycle that we all fall within. It's fine.
Oh.
It's an accepted aspect of living here, though it's... I've not been a haven for a while.
Oh.
Do you know... Do you know what's going on with the priests right now? They've been in there for 200 years.
Oh, it's been like 1,000.
Really?
What?
Oh, yes. Shortly after the mist set in, they went into seclusion.
But the mists are gone now.
Oh, that's convenient, I figured.
That's why we're here.
Yes, well, perhaps things will start changing. Okay.
Well, I'd like to find things about, most of the... Actually, I'd like to find things out about Riolsh, but also, do you have anything on a pseudo-realmic called the Outsider?
No. The only... Well, if it's a pseudo-realmic, I imagine it was a cult.
A cult?
Oh, we've had a few of those. We've had the scintillating presence, the treading one, the wind taken. Oh, I don't know. We've had quite a few. We have a book on the scintillating presence, but it's relatively short. There wasn't much known about them.
I would be curious about these.
Oh, well, I'll find the book. They were on Anda, not here, so. Anyway, we've got the entire Path of the Six. If you are curious about the relics.
Yeah, we went there and looked at them.
No, the books.
Oh.
Their holy texts are called the Path of the Six. I'm
Really?
surprised you don't know this.
We don't have Realmix in Onda.
Bollocks, you've got Leander, Gyanther, and Crove.
No, most of our history was wiped out. So no one...
They didn't know anything of their origins until recently, actually.
Coffee bans him. Coffee bans.
What about the books? Where are the books? I'm gonna be sick.
It's alright, maybe they're all hidden somewhere.
Oh, okay.
You're not
Okay.
helping.
Nice and neatly organized in some ancient hidden library.
To be fair,
Perhaps
we went underneath
Leander's temple is still existing and will hold the books.
We went underneath the university once, and there were all these ruins beneath the library, so that's probably where the books are. But we never went inside.
Wow, I made myself dizzy there. Whoa, I actually hyperventilated.
That awkward
you're getting
moment
too
when
into
Liam
it,
has
right?
just been like making animal noises or hyperventilating noises for like 90% of the session.
Yeah. Anyway. Look, we have many books. Many,
I try to record everything for that which lacks.
So who wants to start looking for books?
Missed.
Me.
Okay. 2 perceptions.
I guess Bran can help.
Alright, Bran, perception.
Everybody, perceptions.
Ren.
A.
Is Ren gonna investigate?
Yeah.
Okay.
She wants to know.
She wants to know, but she doesn't. She also is trying to feign like an aura of, uncaring.
Okay.
Everyone knows she cares. It's fine.
Bran, you find a book called The Champion's Path, written by Apathet. You open it, and you read a passage on the page, and it's, his fingers carved and etched fine words into my flesh with every shuddering breath I took. I craved each tussing caress. I witnessed the purple-helmeted soldier charge down the slope that few have touched. He began to... The book goes on and on about what you kind of assume to be poorly written sexual acts.
Yeah, Bran like looks over this, reads a page, closes it, and hands it to Ren. It's like, this is for you.
Ren opens the book, reads a page, flips a page, flips a page. Really bad. Flips another page.
What do you mean it's very bad?
Nothing!
Nothing.
Ren closes the book and hurriedly shoves it back on the shelf.
Alright, Laffy. You find a book called The Winding Path, written by Talia Sure. And it says, the Winding Path is a pilgrimage of sorts. Many individuals have traveled along the path. In fact, most people have stepped onto its glimmering road at some point in their lives. It is the path to understanding of the greater essence of Anda. The Winding Path is to undergo the rites that allow communion with the Realmics themselves. Many and more have walked this road, but few have reached the end.
So we're going on the Mayhan High Road?
Eh.
Do you have this written down?
Yes.
Fucking sick.
And then, Mist, you find a book by a scholar named Ardat. And it's just the Realmics.
Hey.
And you start to read, and you read the middle of a passage, and it says, these great beings we have deified each represent a sphere of influence and hardly stray from their own realms. It is said that the first edicts were presented to the Altor, while the commandments were lost. The writings that stemmed from them have continued on. We call these writings the Path of the Six. And Ren, you find a whole... Yeah. Ren, you find a whole shitload of books.
Oh my god.
And they all begin with the word the path.
Thanks.
Ren points out the row of books,
Yeah.
clearly indicating the religious text that they were looking for.
Yeah, Mist is like, ooh.
Alright, there is the Path of the Two, the Path of the Vigilant, the Path of the Verdant, the Path of Protection, the Path of Knowledge, and the Path of Creation, and they are all written by Ardat. I'm not going to read all these, so choose 2, and then I'll paste the rest.
I mean, Ren picks up the one on the one
two?
she assumed.
The 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
The Path of the Two, written by Ardat. Raelsh, the realmic deity of duality, is thought to be 2 entities formed into one. These are meant to represent the 2 sides to every point, so to speak. Raelshian priests teach that all things must have their opposite, even nothingness must have the opposite. Raelshian priests seek to uncover the duality in all things.
Boring.
Yeah, you're gonna get them all. Like I said, I'm not gonna read them all aloud because there's a lot of them. But yeah, you get one more. Which one do you want read right now?
I mean, Mist will try to find the one that suits Nenia and point that out for her.
I'll be right back.
Alright, The Path of the Verdant, written by Ardat. Giandthur, the most difficult realmic to decipher. She represents life in all forms, be it the blossoming flower or the first cry of the newborn. Her edict is to grow, to forever expand the breadth and light of life. However, each realmic has a similar edict, that life is a blessing and death is to lose a blessing. The Thurian priests are largely centered in Altor, the forested land. They spend many days within their tree-like temple contemplating her teachings. She is commonly associated with healing and restoration. Due to this, many of the Thurian priests have established clinics and centers of healing for the weak and weary.
Hey.
Oh, Shadow might not be back yet.
Oh, that's right.
Shit.
Well, it's there. I'm gonna paste the rest in, and you guys can take some time to read these if you'd like.
Mist's gonna read them all.
Nope. This is a lot of writing for me. Okay.
I'm sorry. I know these
No,
feelings.
this was like good for me. Okay, yeah, those are the Path of the Six, all written by a scholar by the name of Ardat, and Ars chimes in with, yes, Ardat was the only real scholar that wrote on the Realmics from a largely neutral point of view. He did not, as you see, these are not their religious texts necessarily. They are overviews, I suppose. They should explain somewhat what each Realmic does.
Yeah.
We worship Realsh here.
Are there various other cities that she kind of gestures when she's talking that are more or less devoted to different Realmics?
Rastin and Sonward Rastin are the only two that are any particular. Verdant, as it says, was based in Altor. Crove is this foundation. Everything else is kind of where you will find it.
Interesting.
Sa'an in particular is a favorite of mine.
Mist is like, nah, not, Mist looks down at, Saint, he's in here, right?
Yeah!
I think he might like that one too.
He barks and wags his tail. Well, we've also got the funsies section, but I don't like that one much.
Did you find the one about, the scintillating presence yet?
Oh, yes, it's quite short, unfortunately. It's shorter than I believed.
Well, something is better than nothing, is it not?
Oh, I suppose.
In some
And
sense.
there's that.
Hey.
We've also got magic, but
Ooh.
it's also quite boring.
Is it really?
We've not got many. Magic is not something well understood.
But I mean, the city is full of magic. It's blinding.
Oh no,
I'm surprised-
it's divine magic. There's a difference between the arcane and divine. For example,
Sure.
He squints and looks at Ren. That one is quite practically leaking with arcane energy. And then he looks at Nenny and points at her, and she is leaking divine, nearly.
What?
Nania covers herself a little bit, like fixes her collar.
This is just like, ooh. Can you tell what I am?
Bran looks over at Ren. I think your arcane magic is showing.
I can't. I mean, everyone looks down at himself. I'm not glowing, so.
No, it's a feeling. It's. I can't stop I feel like I should be. He looks at you, Mist, and
What does that mean? She's like looking at the others like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I don't see much.
Really?
You're an enigma, actually.
Mist grins.
He looks at Laffy and squints and, oh, you've taken on the champion's mantle, haven't you?
Luffy has an eye on her forehead and a stone hanging around her neck that has Kasa's symbol, and she looks at him and she says, "What gave it away?"
You're really owning this whole thing, aren't you, Laffy?
Yeah, this is for me. This is my thing. I chose it.
Young lady, have you heard tell of the paladins?
What?
Oh, you've not. It's merely a wives' tale. We've never met one. In fact, I don't think one has been recorded. It is when a champion of Kos is blessed by Sa'an, the sword and the shield.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to imagine Laffy as a paladin now, and I'm just
Yeah,
like...
right.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
tiny swamp gremlin in like this giant suit of armor that's way too big for her.
Luffy's like, I don't know. 2 gods sounds kind of greedy. I'm good with my one.
Oh.
Ren, like, looks down at Saint. Yeah.
He
And
barks.
then Luffy, 3 sounds kind. Never mind. It's a lot.
Well, enjoy the champion's mantle. It's not taken up often. In fact, well, if it's been several thousand since we heard from Anda, I suppose it's been several thousand since the last. They only come along every so often.
So does it only come from Anda as a cast champions?
It is said that Andans are the only individuals that possess the, let us call it tenacity, or stubbornness.
Luffy, like, looks off to the side for a moment, and she's like, so, is there a champion of Real?
Oh, no. Kos is the only one.
Huh.
Interesting.
Ren almost relaxes a little bit. Now she's just...
Yeah. Mist,
Yeah.
Mist is like, that's intriguing. You know, when we saw those statues, there was something coming out of the orb that Leander was holding. Is there anything about that?
Not that I know of. I've not seen that, in fact.
Really?
But I've not left the library in some time, lest Asuthi work his dark evil magics on the organizational system.
Fair. What? Where is this magic section? I mean, you say it is boring, but I'm curious about it.
Well, I can take you. And he stops to look at you, Bran, for a second, looks away, and then double takes. And he just looks for a long moment.
Bran just looks back at him.
He blinks and shakes his head and then kind of starts shuffling away again.
Mist is following, and he's like, did you see something interesting?
Nothing. And then you guys get to the magic section. I'll be right back. There's only 2 books.
Wow.
Worth. Oh, we've no need to study magic. It is simply given to us. And he crawls out and finds the 2 books, and there's Of Arcane Workings, written by, it's scratched out, Divine Magic and You, written by John.
Hey, John's the name of that fucking bard that was singing about them.
Oh god, throwback.
And there you go.
Right? Yeah,
We never did meet John.
No.
we didn't. Maybe this guy's the guy. Probably not, but listen. Yeah, Mist looks through them and writes everything down that she can.
That's about all that I can think of, unless you want to go through funsies, but it's mostly smut. I don't know where the smut came from, and I don't particularly enjoy it being here.
Maybe it was from the other librarian.
Oh,
You know, we probably shouldn't encourage this fight.
I'm going to kill him.
A good fight keeps people healthy. It keeps you on your toes. Gives you passion.
I hate him. I hate him so much.
Buffy gestures to him. Look at all that passion.
I'm going to strangle his stupid skinny neck. And you see Suthi kind of glide past. Anyway, is there anything else you'd like?
Mist is considering for a second. And she's like, do you have anything really old that might need rebinding or rescribing?
Oh, no, the books here last as long as we have Rayalsh's blessing.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. And I wish I had that for all of mine.
Death and age does not visit anything that has the blessing.
Mist kind of looks at the others, see if they're thinking of anything while she tries to figure out more things that she can ask.
Buffy is contemplating her tongue.
Oh my god.
Oh, he looks at you guys and, well, we'll be open. The renovations are complete. We actually went looking for the third. We didn't find him.
Ah.
Every so often we do an expedition. Suthi and I put aside our differences.
Where do you think he might have gone? Do you want help looking for him?
No, it's fine, it's fine. It's fine. He might have disappeared back deep in funsies. If the smut really is his, I'd rather not go looking back there. That would be unfortunate.
Oh. Fair.
Yes. Regardless. Ugh. Ugh. If that's all, I encourage you to shoot.
Might we be able to stick around for a bit?
And
Miss-
do. You see, I need to.
Reading!
I have to watch you, but I've also got to keep an eye on Suthi.
Oh. Alright. Miss looks like she would, if she had the chance, she would try to read fucking everything in here, but... You know.
Goodbye!
Thank you very much for your help.
Yes, I'll be here.
Thank you.
Saint pads on out and his tail is held high. He looks very proud of something.
Oh my god.
And what are you guys doing?
It's like, well...
It is you stand and listen for a second and like 7 bongs happen. You've been here all day.
Mist is fine with this. A good
Yeah.
day. You know, we didn't really learn anything about breaking into that temple.
You what?
What did we learn about the temple in general?
Jack goes back inside.
Yeah, we should probably look stuff about something.
Breaking into the temple?
No, nothing.
They aren't going to let us in.
Yeah, all those stuffy priests have decided to be something for 1,000 years. Maybe they're all dried up and who knows?
Like raisins.
Exactly. Or prunes.
Yeah, Mist is just following.
Eris!
What?
Do you have,
No, we don't have any,
Do you have any books about... You have any books about Raelsh's temple?
only a few.
We'd like to see them if you don't mind.
Okay. And you hear him kind of go waddling or shuffling off. And you guys wait the better part of like half an hour before he returns with 2 books. And we've not much. At least, nothing that hasn't been checked out by the priests. They don't like there being much knowledge about the temple, which I suppose that's fair. They have their share of secrets.
But why? Which books do you have?
I've got the construction of the House of the Broken Star, and he holds it up, and it looks like it is the rites of the Broken Star, and it's only tangentially related, I know, but the rites happen within.
We'd like
Yeah,
to look
right.
at both of them.
Ren takes the construction one.
Okay.
Yeah. Mist shoulder writes down what she can.
Okay. You see the construction one mentions that it was constructed within the 12th year of the 6th cycle of Nap. And it is intricately made. It was made to have several central corridors. Well, there are some large, some very small that are kind of side by side. And then there is a sewer system underneath it, and it was the pride and joy, because it is powered by divine magic, to create a consistent flow. Also indoor plumbing.
Mist writes all this down, and then she looks at the other one.
The other one just details some of the rites, like clerical duties. There's stuff like, sacrifice a chicken.
Really?
Yeah, like, there's also, like, some of the prayers. It's nothing super interesting, and it doesn't necessarily detail what happens inside of the temple, per se. It's just kind of like... like like, when you go to a church and, like, they have a little pamphlet to tell you what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Mist just looks for anything particularly interesting in there. Like,
No.
anything that would seem to set the Broken Star apart from other things that she knows most religious kind of sects do.
Not really.
Alright.
Well, Ren sets the books. He gives the books back, puts them in a deposit box, whatever, and
Yeah.
and leaves.
Yeah. Mist is like, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, she follows after Ren.
Alright, so, it is still dark. You don't know how many bongs have passed, but it definitely feels later and there are less people in the streets.
Mist is like, are you thinking what I'm thinking, Ren?
Ren looks at Laffy. Now it's time.
It's time. And Laffy goes to find a place to make the mansion because they need a base of operations.
Okay.
Yeah.
You walk nearby and you slip down a little alleyway and you carve open your mansion.
Yeah, Mist... Okay, never mind. She was thinking about things, but she just... It was like she had a thought, she was gonna say something, she stopped, she's thinking more.
Once they're in the mansion, Laffy says, Okay, so are we just gonna teleport to Sigil if possible, if something bad happens?
We could. I
I
mean,
Why
I
are you
feel like
saying this?
I feel like that would be the worst happened, like really bad, because it took us a long time to get here,
Well,
and we won't be able to get back that easily.
this is a risky move. I guess we can't have any other plans because we don't know what's inside.
Pretty much.
So we'll just wing it like we always do.
Why though? Why do you need to go in there? Why do you need to sneak in there?
Because we can't go in normally.
Well, they don't want you in there. Why do you break in?
Ren, like, stares at Nenia.
Nenia's been like trying to do this disapproving mother crossed arms thing, but she's super like insecure hugging herself.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Mist looks at Ren and looks at Nanya and is like, I don't entirely know, but
Okay,
Ren
let's.
seems really interested in that symbol.
Maybe I can shine some light on it. One, Ren seems really interested in that symbol, and she keeps giving disapproving looks to the statue, so I'm gonna guess that something with Rayosh has to do with Ren. Secondly, the more we find out about Rayosh, the more we find out about whatever the fuck we're doing. The more we find out about Rayosh, the sooner we can leave the city and then go explore the rest of the continent.
No one seems to be answering many questions about, what is going on here? Who are these Haven people?
I did
How
say it was
are
sort of
people
a
left
cycle.
just unable to die? I mean,
Maybe we could find them instead and ask.
We did. And he was like, why are you talking to me? I'm going to inch away uncomfortably now.
Could always
Okay.
try to find one more talkative.
You know
They-
what?
there is a place that was mentioned, was it not? That they sort of gather, I guess.
You know what? Let's go find Zahav, whatever's then, and then if we don't have the answers that we want, we'll sneak into the place.
Ren crosses her arms, taps her foot, and looks at Nenia like, this is your fault.
We keep saying it's time, but it's never time.
Look, I think it's time. I don't want to go talk to those people. They're probably just going to look at us and be like, why are you asking us these questions? It's part of the cycle. And we shouldn't question anything because we might get cursed even more.
Not questioning is all.
Well, that I know.
Yeah. So we should figure it out one way or another. Anyway,
I think we should go directly to the source, aka the priest.
Okay, let's put it down to a vote. Who wants to go infiltrate the place and look for
Ren
Eureka's
lifts her hand.
Mist kind of does a little bit. She looks at the tentacles to see what they do.
They just kind of wave around like they always do.
Okay.
Ren looks down at Saint.
Saint just looks between everybody and barfs.
Saint, no, you're supposed to give paw. Give paw.
He just looks at
Luffy
you
looks
and
at
barfs
Mist
again.
and she's like, Luffy looks at Mist and she's like, is that an actual hand raise or are you half-assing this?
I want to do both, okay? That's what I want
Okay.
to do.
Fine, Ren, we'll just wait another day. A day's not gonna kill you, nothing's gonna kill you. Let's just go to sleep.
Okay.
Besides, maybe they'll have more information about what's, in there somehow.
Mist is gonna insight check Ren because she thinks she's just gonna go anyway.
You don't even have to insight check Ren. She's gonna
Yes.
go anyway.
Yeah, Mist is like,
Luffy
you're gonna...
sighs and she's like, she looks at Ren and she's like, you don't fucking, and then she walks out of the mansion.
Mist just looks at Nettie and is like, she's gonna go anyway.
Ren walks after Luffy.
Well, it seems like her mind is made.
So, I guess what we got to do is make sure she makes it all right, because if she doesn't, we're all fucked.
That's what Luffy's there for, maybe.
That's what Ren does, though. If we
Yeah.
don't hide the scroll properly, we're all fucked.
Yeah. Miss looks at Nania, and as she says that, she's kind of like, this. She has this look like, yeah, this is how it is here, and this is why so many stupid things happen.
Oh boy.
Oh my god. Alright, so you guys all step outside the mansion?
Yeah, Mist.
I
Well,
thought it was just Ren and Luffy.
Mist actually inside the mansion. Mist changes Vathan's form to a pigeon.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think everyone's gonna try to sneak in, are they? Because that seems like it would just be.
Okay,
Bad.
so just Ren and Luffy and
Leaving you
Vathan?
guys at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break because I drank too much water, so I'll be right back. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, Mist went out with them, and she's just talking with telepathy now, and she's like, I'm guessing you're going to try to use the sewers, right?
No, the guard changes at 3 bombs.
Okay, but what if you can't open the door?
Fine.
Did you see any
There are the
windows?
other entrances. There's windows.
Yeah, did you see any windows?
Yes. I couldn't see what was in the windows, but there's
Okay, but
there's
can you
definitely
break
windows.
into the windows? They'll notice.
Not if I
No,
do it
I have
right.
a spell for that. I have a spell for that.
They might be able
Okay.
to detect magic.
No one uses magic
Yes, I
here.
have a spell for that too.
Oh, right.
Oh, good, me too.
Miss takes out the amulet of non-detection. He's like, well, one of you could use this. I mean,
I
I would.
have that spell.
Me
You
too.
have. Oh, you both have it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mist gives it to Vathan.
You've got this.
And
You
then
had
she
better.
pauses and she takes it from Vathan. It's like, a non-detectable pigeon is more suspicious than a regular pigeon. And she's like, oh, right, okay, but how did the guard change, Ren? Were they were they both right there, or? You know what? Before you go in there,
With the DM.
yeah, I know, right? Miss just keeps talking, it's fine. It's like, you know what? If Vathan's gonna help, Vathan could, go around, scout the place out. You could see it from all angles. I could relay the visuals to you so you have a better idea. And then when that split-second change happens, you know what to do.
Yeah, alright.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I think my tooth almost chipped a bit more. That was upsetting to see.
God.
Oh, God.
Yeah, anyway, were you guys role-playing without me?
Yes.
God damn it.
You told us to talk amongst ourselves.
Yeah, okay, so,
They were making a plan.
okay,
Nania's staying in the mansion because she doesn't want to hear any of this.
okay.
She does not approve.
Okay, so Ren and Luffy are outside.
Mist is outside with them,
Okay.
talking with telepathy to them.
Yeah,
She
Bran
turned-
will probably stay near, not in plain sight, but kind of near the temple to keep an eye on things.
Mist turned Vathan into a pigeon, and she had said something about how she's gonna have Vathan fly around to scout the place out and, relay it telepathically to them so they could see everything instead of just, well, there were maybe windows and we might be able to open the door, but
What
Yeah.
what was the guard shift change like?
Oh, you saw one at 3 in the morning.
Yeah. What happens? Like
2 guards walk up, and 2 guards leave. That's all you saw.
Luffy's gonna sprinkle some non-detection dust on herself.
Okay.
Ren, already has that spell on.
Okay.
She lives in
Yeah.
that spell.
Mist is like, alright, well, I could send Vathan over to look around. You could see the place and then figure out where you want to do this.
Alright.
Wait.
Do you also have Passlet Trace?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Well, we gotta remember how it's 1 hour, so I'll cast it when we're close. Because I have non-detection, so no one's gonna fucking know. And then we'll go, because I don't want it to run out when we are trying to do things.
Sounds good.
We also have those earpieces if anything goes wrong and you need help from the outside. Do let us know.
Ren lifts up and taps her. Hearing you loud and clear, Mist.
Yeah, so are they heading that way?
Yeah, Laffy's gonna throw up Pass Without Trace once they're close. But
Okay, so what's Nenia doing?
She's hiding.
Okay.
She
No.
doesn't like it.
She's not.
Oh,
She was staying in the mansion until they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
She's going to leave a little note
Okay.
saying that she's going to do this the more civil way. And she apologizes, of course, in her letter. She'll leave what Ren taught her and go try to retrace steps to find where that homeless man was.
Okay.
While they're off doing their thing.
Okay. We're gonna have to talk about that some other point, I think, between
That's
now
fine.
and next week.
That's fine.
Okay. So the rest of you guys, you start
you were
heading.
just stupid.
Yeah, you guys start heading off. And you get about an hour, or you get about 30 minutes away before Laffy, you cast pass Without a Trace. And you guys see the temple looming up. How are you doing this?
Mist is sending Vathan to, like, fly around and basically scout, and she's gonna use telepathy to relay to the others what she's seeing.
Okay, roll perception.
Boy. Oh, right, I don't have to do this. I keep opening the dice roller, and I'm like, wait, I have that other thing. I'm gonna use luck.
Okay. Okay.
There we go.
Vathan flaps around for, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes before spotting a pale figure sprinting over to the temple with bright red hair.
What?
Well, they all see that.
Laffy looks at Ren and she's like, what? And Laffy is like,
Ren slaps them both with invisibility just in case.
Mm-hmm.
and then they
does,
stealth.
And then they stealth. And they're gonna go.
Okay.
does this person have, like, do they have, like, armor on? Do they look like...
You can't
What
tell
are they
from here.
wearing?
You can't tell from here. All you saw was an individual, kind of, not sprinting, I guess, but walking or running up, but trying to look kind of quiet about it.
Okay. Yeah, Vathan just acts like a fucking bird.
Okay.
So he happens to sort of be around where the others are.
Oh, I'm forgetting to add the +10. So
Yeah, it's the
+10 to
+10.
that.
Okay.
Wait, what did I roll? Yeah, 14 + 10. No,
Alright.
wait. They roll.
Bran, you
Five,
also
actually,
you
10.
also see this figure run out. But
34.
you roll perception for me, Bran.
Sure.
From where you are, you see 3 other figures run out shortly behind him, cloaked in like dark browns.
How many you cut out there?
You see 3 others run out behind
shit.
him in brown, like dark brown
Like,
clothing.
what's the general, like, feel amongst them? Like,
They're
Like-
heading
like-
towards the temple.
do they, but I mean, do they look, like, upset or, like, alert or...
They look very alert and purposeful.
So, like, it looks like something's gone down and they gotta get to the temple quickly. or
Uh,
something.
it looks like they're also trying to be hidden.
They're trying to break in too!
High five! Break-in buddies!
Oh
Okay.
my god.
God. Nadia disapproves from a distance.
Nennius thing actually makes this real interesting for me.
I got 32
No,
for
that-
stealth,
that-
by the way.
Okay. No, Nennius
Yeah,
thing is
that's
actually
pretty
really
cool.
exciting for me, so thank you for that.
Oh no.
Two paths diverged, and you somehow took both.
Oh no.
Okay, so you guys are heading up, and you catch up to the figures soon enough, but you keep a respectable distance, and you see that, yeah, you all see that there's this pale-skinned, red-haired person in, like, again, dark browns. He is flanked by 3 other individuals, and one of them is this very large, burly elven man with a black, kind of curly, but like African American curly hair.
So he's got
And-
an afro.
Kinda, but it's like
I was thinking
close
the same
kept.
thing.
It's like closely kept.
It's like a really
Yeah.
small afro.
Yeah.
Like Sam Jackson from Pulp Fiction. afro.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. And you see that there are the 2 others, and they're kind of more nondescript. And Bran, are you still up, like, watching?
Yeah, Bran's
Okay.
sort of just kind of.
Uh,
Bran's basically like, he's there to like make a distraction or like do something if something happens and he suddenly needs to act.
Okay. Ren,
Mist
you...
is- Oh, sorry.
What's Miss doing?
Mist had totally sat herself down in such a way where it looks like she's reading, but she's really just looking through Vathan's eye.
Okay. Ren, you recognize the person that is red-haired.
Oh shit.
I do.
Yeah, it is the individual that greeted you at the docks originally.
Oh shit.
Oh my
Oh
god.
man.
Jesus.
Luffy doesn't know him.
And you hear the... Oh, what was that?
Ren is like, she's confused and slightly alarmed. So yeah, she's gonna definitely remain stealth.
You
And-
hear the big man go, Rain, are you sure about this? And you hear Rain speak back, Ardat, I know what I'm doing.
Ren, she straightens up and then she like shrinks back down and she touches like the earpiece that she
Wait,
got. She's
wait,
like,
did-
she's yeah. She's like, he said all that. Isn't that the guy who wrote the?
That's the guy.
Well, at least the same name.
What if our dad is like John or something, just really calm and...
I guess we'll find out. Let's see what they do.
2 of the guys, or 2 of the 2 other individuals go up, and they're up against the fence now. And you guys see that their hands glow with this purple light that's kind of shrouded in black, and they trace their hands along the fence, and a part of it falls towards them, and they grab it and move it aside, and there's like man-sized holes in it.
Well, that makes our job easier.
And they kind of start slinking in.
Luffy's gonna follow him behind.
Okay.
So is Ren.
Yeah, Vathan kind of flies around like they're just acting like a curious bird, you know.
Like a bird.
Yep, very
Bird.
bird-like.
Bird doing bird thing.
Yep. Stealthy bird things. Doesn't
Okay.
give anybody away yet, just sort of hangs out there until it seems like they've gotten far enough in before following after.
You hear Rain. Ardat. Quiet, quiet, quiet. There's people coming. And everyone kind of slinks low and tries to get low to the grass because there's about 40 to 50 feet between the fence and the wall of the temple. And they're all just kind of pressed, kind of spread out and trying to blend in with the night. You guys are still invisible, and you see some guards just kind of saunter past, talking amongst themselves, not noticing anything.
Ren's quiet until they're like out of earshot.
Okay. The rest of once they're out of earshot, the individuals kind of pick themselves up and start inching closer. And eventually, Ardat, alright, let's try this. And the two individuals reach out to touch the wall, and Mist, all of a sudden, you see like a flash of arcane magic spring up. And when the two individuals touch the wall, they're thrown back.
I'm not trying that.
And you hear Ardat just curse, and Ren goes, "Shit, I thought that would have worked. Alright, let's try again." And the two people pick themselves up off the ground and try this again, and the second they put their hands on, there's a bright flash of light. This time, and they're thrown back, and there's just this... What's up?
Can Ren, like, Arcana as it's, happening?
Can Mist discern what this is?
Arcana, both of you.
Hey.
You can both easily tell that it is a very powerful version of Glyph of Warding. And it set off a light spell the second time. And now there is this globe of bright light shining down on everybody. And their eyes go wide, and they look amongst themselves and start to run. Back out the way they came.
Fluffy looks at Ren. He's like, I don't think that we're getting inside, but we could follow those guys and figure out what's up.
Yeah, how close are they?
They pass pretty close to you as they run past.
Okay, hang on. Before they run past, they're... I just need to... Sorry, I gotta look at Spellbot.
That's cool.
And there's how many of them?
4 total.
Can Luffy try to get a good look at Ray, or whatever his name is?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
Perception as he runs by.
16.
Okay.
Like, enough to remember his features and stuff.
Okay, yeah, he's a somewhat well put together, younger looking elven man. He's got kind of reddish skin, and bright red hair, and these like deep green eyes, with very fair features. You're pretty sure you could pick him out of a crowd again.
Okay.
Are you trying to cast invisibility on them, Ren?
Maybe. The problem is, Ren only has fucking...
Vathan could help. It's a touch spell.
Just say it into the communicator.
Yeah, Ren, who's the close... How far apart are they?
Are you casting greater or just normal?
No, just normal.
Not close enough for you to touch. You'd have to move. They're about 15 feet from you, or the closest one. That'd be Ardat.
Yeah.
Mist, what sort of invisibility did you cast?
Just straight up normal invisibility, but at higher levels you can do more than one.
Okay.
Yeah, but you still gotta touch them all. That's the thing.
Yeah, but
Ren,
You
if you
can
move
touch
now, you'd be able to touch Ardat.
If Ren communicates,
But
that
casting invisibility would also end yours.
Yeah, but she's confident in herself.
communicate, Ren. Or she's not gonna.
Laffy can.
You've got about 1 second to do
Oh.
this.
Yeah, that's like, it's not a, hey, I'm gonna do this thing and then do the thing. It's do the thing.
Yeah, the people are running
Then you
by.
can only get art at. It's useless. Let's just go after them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. They go sprinting past.
Okay.
Laffy follows.
Yeah.
Okay.
and we've
Vathans
got-
actually sticks around for a little bit to see what happens.
Some
Like, does
guards
anyone
come.
out?
Yeah, some guards come running around and they walk up to inspect the fence and they seem real upset.
Okay. Are they talking? Do they say anything about
You can't hear them.
calling someone or other? Okay.
Yeah, you can't hear them, but they're very clearly talking.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Faith
guys.
flies after the others then.
All right. Bran, they end up running past you again.
Yeah. Does Bran see Ren and Luffy like following behind them?
They're invisible, but Laffy says into the communicator, "We're in pursuit."
Pursuit of who?
Mm,
Who the fuck do you think?
There
Oh,
are
no.
others. There are others. There are 4 others here that were also apparently trying to break in.
And Bran, at this point, you see the 4 people go running past you.
Oh, alright, those. And then Bran waits for them to get like a good distance like ahead of him, and then starts to follow behind them as well.
I assume that, like, if Laffy and Ren catch up to Bran, Ren will slap him with an invisibility
Okay.
as she goes past.
Okay. Mist, where are you?
She waits for Vathan to get closer, and she, like, when no one's paying any attention, she'll cast invisibility on herself.
Okay.
She'll eventually kind of follow them, but she's staying at a distance.
Okay. Those of you that are following the other crew, you see them turn down an alleyway. They've stopped running and they're trying to act a bit more casual. Eventually they turn down an alleyway and duck down into a door that they open and then close behind them.
Laffy goes to open the door.
Oh my god!
Opens the door!
Well, she waits, but like, she's gonna try to open the door.
Alright, the door opens. And before you is this dark, empty room.
There's no one inside.
No, it's just kind of the size of, like, your bedroom, dark, empty room.
Laffy's gonna check to see stuff.
Uh,
Look for things.
investigate.
Ren will help
Investigate.
me.
Alright, both of you investigate.
Well, I got a natural 1.
Laugh, you don't find
Vathan?
shit.
Vathan probably gets there first and tries to discern if they did some magical shit.
Perception from Vathan. Bran, you're with, Laffy and Ren.
Damn. Oh.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Ooh, natural
Got
20.
this.
Nice.
Ren, you start rooting around and eventually, you do feel your fingers kind of slit past the wall. And you reach in and your hand just disappears behind one of the walls.
Secret wall. she slips around the corner.
Okay.
Into
Does
the
she
darkness.
tell them?
Yeah, no, she like that was her whisper, secret.
Oh,
And then
yeah,
she's
I
gone.
thought that was you.
No.
Yeah, so
Laffy follows.
Ren found the thing. Might there be any alarm spells?
Well, As you guys walk in, you see two individuals beginning a spell. Their hands glowing kind of a bright, or that same like black purple light. And
Ben's gonna Arcana check her death.
So it is Bran like right there?
yeah, they were casting an alarm spell.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are they both casting like one spell, or are there two of them?
There's two of them.
Ren's gonna do a stupid. She drops her invisibility.
Luffy also drops her invisibility. I was
Okay.
waiting for someone to do
I was gonna say Bran was just gonna like counter spell the alarm.
Just they both. Ah!
And a bird flies in.
Yeah.
Fancy meeting you here, says Luffy, who's never met them before.
Rain peeks his head up over what looks like now a ladder that was going down. He goes, "Oh, good. They found us before we found them."
What?
The
Is that-
bird just
is that
says,
the
"What
sort
do you
of-
mean by that?"
Is that in the sort of you were going to come and do harm to us, or you need our help to infiltrate the thing?
Oh, we
You
wanted-
failed it.
We wanted the outsiders to help.
Okay.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you aren't doing, the harming thing. It would have gone poorly.
We were totally gonna break in there, but we looked at your failure and we were like, nah.
Yeah, it's a bit hard. Anyway,
So, is your friend the same Ardat that like wrote the books? The
Yep.
literal. Oh my god. Okay.
don't.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mist eventually comes in and drops her invisibility, and then the bird flies to her shoulder, and she's just like, "So, why is it you want to get in there?"
I see the timid one turned into a tiny one.
No!
Oh, yeah, no, that's Minia.
Oh.
No!
Hello.
I'm different.
Uh-huh.
My name's Luffy. That
oh.
deals with the other ones.
Oh.
Have
Okay.
him.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
we
I
got-
don't know that. That's
I
right.
don't know.
The other member of our party disapproved of our.
She's with our dog.
Oh. Well. Very well.
He's a good dog.
He is, I'm sure. You should probably come down and speak to Ardat.
Yeah, right. Like she just
Yeah.
walks down.
Suffice to say, we, probably have a
So
lot
why
of
were you
questions.
guys trying to break in? I mean, we're
That's
just
what I
assholes.
asked.
but-
It's easy. It's easier if Ardat explains.
Okay.
Is he the leader, or Luffy's like going down the
I mean,
ladder?
at the very least, he's the scholar that probably knows most about.
He's the high priest. He's the high Raelshan priest.
Oh, really?
What?
Wait,
Aye.
what?
Oh,
Why is he
he'll
trying
Breaking into his own tent.
he'll explain everything.
Mist just follows. Then she's really curious.
I'm getting the sense that some sort of balance is out of whack here as she's descending.
Ah, you Andans are so smart from what I've heard, and now I've seen. Ah.
Gee, thanks.
Starts.
We appreciate that.
Oh, I'm sure you do. And you guys are walking down kind of this dark, semi-lit tunnel that's, again, at a slope downward, like most of the city seems to be. And it's just kind of dimly lit by these floating orange lanterns.
Yeah.
And he gestures, and they start following him. Like he's holding his hand up, and they're following as you guys do, massing up and leaving the hallway behind them in darkness. And eventually, you guys come to a more like the tunnel opens up into a circular room, and in the center of the room is a table with the big, burly gentleman sitting at it. He goes, "Oh, what took you so long? Oh, the outsiders. I see.
And we, watched.
Yeah.
Good. Less I have to explain if you saw that display." He shoots Rain a glare, and Rain just kind of, "Oh, we tried." Has he told you who I am yet?
Yeah.
High priest of the temple you were trying to break into?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might, you're going to explain that.
The short and sweet is, the priest in there deposed of me when I suggested that the balance be maintained even when Rayalsh has left us.
You cut
Is
out.
what?
God damn it, really?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
They decided to dispose of me when I suggested that the balance be maintained even when Rayalsh has left us.
Oh.
Then
What's the fuck kind of priest is?
Desperate to
Right.
not die, that's what.
So wait.
so this.
So Rielsh is not. Is Rielsh here or not?
Oh, no, he's gone. We should be dead.
And
So
why
what-
has the blessing not faded then?
Seems that they're keeping it up themselves. It's throwing things out of whack.
Is that why there's
How
no
dreadful they are to
suffering?
claim they stand for something and do this.
Yeah, sure, that's the problem. Not that they're
Sorry.
going against the core doctrine of our teachings.
Yeah,
Well,
and now that I have my calling, I'm basically obligated to kick their ass.
Well, makes it even worse if you want to know that they're using the Havens.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. See, the way it used to work, we'd rotate the balance in all things, right? Those who are this side of Rastin, unaging, undying. Those in Sunward, they age, they can die. But we'd rotate. That way, people could still die, people could still be born. The population was always balanced, you see. When someone lived for, I don't know, 200-300 years, or when they simply decided it was time, they'd go over to Sunward and perish, and we'd bring someone over from Sunward. Worked out well, everyone knew the system. When Rayalsh left, they decided to no longer do that system, and everyone who is on this side has remained. And those who have been on Sunward have been dying this whole time.
So have they been sapping the lives from the people in Sunward? I am not understanding how they are using the havens.
Yeah, souls.
Why do we always run into this? It's just gestures.
Divine magic, same thing. Simulating the blessing. They don't want to admit that we lost it, that we're no longer worthy.
So how are you gonna break in if you can't break in?
Well, that's what we're going to figure out, and that's what we are hoping you'd help us with. You're outsiders. You know what's been happening or outside of the city.
Well, sort of. I mean, apparently it seems all of this is sort of connected in some way, and I don't like to say it that way, but here we are. What was keeping you out of there? It looked like a very powerful glyph of warding spell?
I guess that's what it is. I don't know much about arcane. We weren't.
Oh, I do.
Well then, you would know better than I.
It's possible to dispel it, but also possibly might not have to. Do you know how thick those walls are?
Pretty thick. My boys are gonna have to cut through it.
I could possibly make a portal from one side to the other if I knew about how far I need to go in.
I'll send one of my boys in. He knows how to navigate the sewers.
Okay. But here's another thing. What are you going to do once you get in there?
Depends on what they're doing.
Fair.
Either way, the balance needs to be restored.
I still don't understand why they're locked in there precisely. Like, what are they? Are they just drinking and fucking? Like,
Don't know.
what are
I can presume it's to stop anyone from finding out what they're doing.
Don't you think that they'd have caught on? I mean,
Why would people want to die?
exactly. Doesn't that mean that everyone else is just compliant?
Would you question it?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
I mean, that's sort of why we're here, but we also haven't grown up in this society, so...
the people here, your average person, I think, would realize they're not going to die, and when they're raised and told that you don't die if Raelsh loves you. If you never die, that means Raelsh never stops loving you.
Oh, yeah, I get that. But, like, can't the church keep that up without the entire clergy being locked up? I mean, that's the part that seems strange to me.
Well, if they're performing some kind of dark ritual, then no.
Are
It's
they
also
just...
possible that they killed everybody that didn't agree with them.
They did kick me out.
Huh. Did they try to kill you?
I think they know better than that.
Nice.
Well then, Yin?
Yes.
Duh.
I mean, at the very least, find out what happened.
Right then, let's start planning. And that's where we're going to leave off with you, guys. We're going to move over to Nenia real quick. And Nenia,
Hey.
you wind up finding the old man who's still begging, and he's sitting there on the corner, his hand's still out. He looks like he hasn't moved, and he looks up at you, and he looks frightened for a moment.
Oh, no, I'm, it's alright, I'm not here to hurt you. And she, like, holds her hands up.
What?
You're still here?
If I leave, I might die. I don't want to die.
Why would you?
You don't die if you're on this side.
I see, look, I was here with a group earlier, and you mean to say that you're destined to die, and you said it was Song War?
The Sunward people... I just don't want to die. If it means I have to beg over here, it's worth it. I had to sneak past the guards. But I made it.
Alright, and you do what you must.
I'm looking for my daughter.
Where- that's true. Here, and she digs through her satchel and pulls out 10 gold to put in his... to actually hand to him. She's not gonna dump it in his hat or anything, but holds it out to him. Could you tell me where you came from? I'd like to know.
Sunward.
Yes.
He-
I'm sorry.
He points west.
She'll look that way. Alright. Sorry, God. Okay, thank you. I'm doing this for the sake of friends, to understand, to know why you've fallen out of favor and how you might be able to keep it. And I feel the answers are there.
He just kind of blankly looks at you.
Her lips thin to a line, just trying not to show discomfort. I thank you for what you've given me. You said you had to sneak past guards to get here.
Yeah, they don't want Sunward coming in.
Are travelers or
I don't know.
people out?
We've not had people. Nobody wants to go Sunward. Nobody.
Well, I do. So, and she, if he didn't take the coins, then she'll, put them in the hat, and, alright, I'll do what I can for you and your daughter, and she looks back the way she came and realized she went into this not thinking. And she's not going to tell somebody that, like, oh, hey, my friends are trying to break into the temple, and I'm trying to find your home. So, yeah, she's just going to, she's going to take off her shawl. It is still nighttime, right?
Yeah, it's always nighttime.
Okay. Oh, right. Duh, God. Okay, she takes off her shawl, gestures it out to him. Just keep yourself warm. Thank you. And she's going to head off west and try to be casual about it and try to get a bearing of maybe guards along the way or...
Okay. Well, we're going to end there for tonight, and you and I are going to continue in a brief solo session sometime next week.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Fun game tonight.
Hiding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye, Internet.
Bye.